I'm Mr. Lover Lover. She call me Mr. Bombastic, tell me fantastic. Touch me on me back, she says I'm Mr. Romantic. Call me fantastic, touch me on me back, she says I'm Mr. Smooth.
Wagwan people, it is I, SourBawss, and I've got an OU match once again against a pretty good friend of mine actually, RChizzle9. You may have heard of him, Anyway, this was during time I'm still using this little Hailstall team. I was kind of haggling for decent matches since most of them were lopsided or unuploadable. And he actually offered, which was very nice of him, so let's look at the team preview very quickly, shall we? Now, the team preview actually tells me quite a lot, actually, since I know Rylan isn't exactly an OU player. He's all the way down in the lower tier, so I'm guessing, since he's using the Sand team, I'm guessing all of these are the standard sets. So we've got a Scarf Rotom, that T-Tar will probably have the Crunch and Fire Blast, so I need to watch out for that. Ridiculous is probably the Carmine sets with Focus Blast and Psychic Recover. Heatran might be a Stealth Rocker, but I'm guessing it's probably the Special Defensive Tran. Excadrill, SD, you know the standard sets. And Glasgow, it could be the SD as well, Ice Fang, Earthquake sets. But regardless, I'm going to start off with my Tentacruel just to get up some Toxic Spikes, or just get one layer anyway, just to win this Weather Wall with the T-Tar, since that's the only thing that's affected by it. So, without further ado, let's get on with the show. So Ryan's going to lead off with a Rotom Wash form, probably Scarf set I've already stated, as I'm going to lead off with my Tentacruel. Now I'm just going to go for the Protect first turn, as to just see what he wants to do. I've since changed this to Hex, since Jellicent was getting quite annoying, and it was also suggested to me on the Smogon forums, which has been working out quite nicely. As he goes for the trick, and I'm just going to go for the Skull Burn, since I want to try and burn this thing, since I just want to whittle this Rotom Wash down as fast as possible. As you can see, Black Sludge and the Scolds have done already, what, 25% to him, which is very nice indeed, as I'm just going to go for a Protect once more. And then proceed to stay in, since looking at his team, nothing wants to take a Scald Burn, which is why I stayed in, apart from this Reuniclus, which I want to bring out right now, so it will give me a free chance to switch into my Blissey and set up my Stealth Rocks. And as I said before, he also has leftovers. I'm not throwing the offensive Trick Room sets, which is why I go into my Blissey. He does predict that quite nicely actually, and goes for Focus Blast, but I'm a Special Wall and I can take special hits for days. I am a Blissey after all. Rchizzle's gonna decide to switch out into his T-Tar so he can set out the Sandstorm just to start the Weather Wall has initiated right now. As I've previously stated, I'm just gonna go for the Stealth Rocks, since rocks are always important in a game anyway. It'll help me very much in dealing with that freaking Rotom Wash, which keeps Volt Switching around these days. I mean, Volt Switch and Sizzle and U-Turn on PO, I mean, bloody hell, that's been around everywhere. But regardless, I'm going to Seismic Toss first turn, just see what he wants to do, as he goes for Stealth Rock, so this is Stealth Rocker, and I'm going to Seismic Toss again, predicting him to predict my switch into Skarmory, so he can try and Torch me, but that's not the case. So I'm able to get some free damage on this Skarmory. Oh yeah, what am I talking about? T-Tar, as I'm going to switch out into my Hariyama, which is my usual switch into T-Tars, since Hariyama's so good on this team, honestly. I was really hesitant at first to use this thing, but oh my goodness, this thing has just done so much work. It is unbelievable. Such a tank, honestly. So I'm just going to go for low kick. I figured he'd probably go into his Glasgow, but I've no reason to predict at this point, since I'm at a pretty comfortable position, as I'm going to switch into my Skarmory. As he goes for a Substitute, telling me that he's the Substitute, Protect, Toxic, Earthquake set, so that means he cannot even touch me, which is brilliant. So I'm able to just start laying out my first layer of spikes, and the entry hazard war has begun. Well, not really war, since I'm the only one setting up, but that's besides the point. As I'm just going to make the obvious switch into my Blissey once again, as he goes for Loudplume, telling me that he is a special defensive Tran. And yeah, pretty much just stand plays right here, since I just want to see if he wants to try and double switch. If he does double switch for that matter, since this is my second time playing RChizzle. It's the first time with IE, but that didn't really work too well for him. But either I'm going to soft boiled on the stern just to get myself back to full health, since Sandstorm and Rocks are being a real damper on his Blissy's health. As he tries to predict my my Latias switch in as he goes for the Rchizzle, but I knew he was either going to go for anything but the Earthquake, so I was free to get lot of good damage on that. And he was pretty pissed, I'm not gonna lie. As I'm going to switch to Skarmory, as I now know he's annoyed as hell, so he's going to go for that obvious Earthquake. As I see he's also Life Orb from that Rchizzle, as Life Orb will bring him down to a range where he cannot switch out, so I'm free to put up my last 2 layers of spikes and Roost up as the Rchizzle does kill himself. So there you go, Rchizzle, that big threat, out of the window right now. Let's go. So I'm in a pretty comfortable position, I must say, since one of the best Rchizzle is out of the way. The only real threat now is the Rchizzle, which I have a check for in the form of Latias during that time anyway. So he's going to bring his Rotom Wash. He's going to force me out, obviously, with the Electric Stab, as I'm not that sturdy and I wouldn't even stay in anyway, so, well, usually, but obvious switch to Blissey was obvious, take any special hits, as he's going to switch out into his T-Tar, taking a lot of entry hazard damage, so I'm really wearing this T-Tar down. Now here you're probably wondering why I don't switch into my Hariyama to take this crunch, since I pretty much take any hit this T-Tar wants to throw at me. Now since number one, I want to get this thing down as low as possible so that he can't switch in, or switch back in to initiate his weather, but the real main reason is because my Tentacruel doesn't really have a chance to rapid spin, so I want to get those hazards out of the picture right now. And the Stealth Rock is off my field, so he goes for another crunch, as I'm just going to go for the Scald next turn. Doesn't KO, but very close. I'm just happy that he didn't go for the Stealth Rocks again, which I'm very happy about. And repetition is redundant, so my Tentacruel goes down. I'm going to switch out into my freaking Abomasnow since I've won the Weather War now. And I'm not sure why I go for the Blizzard, since I think I was just more scared that he would switch out into Rotom or Glasgow, predicting my Earthquake, but I think that was a bit of a misplay on my part, but I go for Blizzard and I get the freeze. Actually that Blizzard did quite a bit, let's see it goes, that's times 4 resisted, I mean shit. But yeah, it possibly might have mattered since he does have a 30% chance here this turn and next turn to get the Larplume off and possibly burn me, but even if he did get the burn, Heatran would have been brought down very, very low, or even possibly KO'd thanks to Hail. But so it didn't play a big role. It only really just, yeah, it didn't really matter too much, or at all for that matter. Since if he did switch out, he still would have taken a lot of entry hazard damage. But regardless, he does make a double switch into the Rotom Wash, predicting my Skarmory, which is an excellent play on his part, but to no avail, as I do predict his trick and go straight for the Brave Bird, just so that Hail will be enough to KO it after that. And actually this Scarf will actually help me very much in outspeeding this Glasgow, as I know he's going to go for a substitute, predicts my switch as I am choice locked into Brave Birds, but I'm going to hit him so that he cannot make a substitute this turn. So now I know he's going to go for the Protect just to get some health back so he can make some substitutes. So I switch out into my Abomasnow, and which is very helpful, seeing as next turn, as you'll see next turn, as he will switch out into his T-Tar, but this misplay on his part, since he did not realise that a Weather Inducer Pokemon must survive the entry hazards for his ability to activate. So oh well, that's probably why also I went for Blizzard, since I pretty much just press any button, or I was predicting if you switched out into Rotom Wash then I'd get some very nice damage and possibly Oko or close to, not Oko, but get a decent chunk, you know what I'm saying. but also because Abomaso is in, he will not switch into his Glasgow, so he's going to go into his Rchizzle, as we're going to get into a Calm Mind war here. And so all I need is 2 Pokemon left, if it's a Rchizzle and one other Pokemon, that being the Glasgow, so I can freely get into a Calm Mind war with his Rchizzle. I don't need to fear anything, as he does not have Psyshock but Psychic, and as soon as I'm at plus 3 or 4, I'll be able to roar him out and then KO the Glasgow and 2-hit KO the Rchizzle. So that's a good game there. RChizzle, his link will be down below, check him out, he's a very good friend of mine. And yeah, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the other side.